The Mr. Robot series has apparently reached its end. I had to stop watching halfway through the second season because even though new episodes had to come out about 6 years ago, I was traveling to and from Rome for about 5 hours a day. Yeah, public transportation isn't that great around Rome, as I used to work as a cybersecurity specialist. I told myself I'll wait until it's over and then watch them all. With some years of ethical hacking experience under my belt, I told myself, why not analyze all of them on the tube? In this video, we'll take a look at all of Elliot's and his crew's hacking shenanigans. Since it's the pilot, there is really a lot of substance, so let's get started. Run servers with highly questionable content, whose traffic is routed through the Tor network. I'm not pressing play on the video because I'll get a copyright strike. Likely. Elliot was able to take a hold of Ron's exit node and intercept all of the traffic. Where are the exit nodes? We'll see this in a minute. What are they? Well, we'll talk about it in the next video. We'll talk about the dark web there, so wait a couple of days. As you can see on the map, these are the exit nodes, Tor exit nodes. Let's take, for example, this. This list was queried via lookup and the map populated here on the front end. These are simply ISPs, Internet Service Providers. Here, for example, Tiscali is one of the most well-known that we have in Italy, but you can also check the one in your country, for example, America. You could set up your own exit node on your PC. It's the final node that connects to the rest of the internet. Yes, Tor is a separate network, but inevitably it connects to the broader internet infrastructure. On the exit node, for all sites visited in plain text, it may appear as if anonymous user requests actually came from your PC. And no, that's not a good thing. Tor is full of very nasty stuff. And theoretically, using Wireshark, you could intercept the contents of HTTP requests. That's why on Tails, the Linux live virtual machine with Tor and all Firefox extensions pre-installed, there's HTTPS everywhere. But if the site is HTTP, there's not much you can do. The Tor development team tries to obfuscate packet contents even when they're plain text, if they're HTTP. And if the owner of an exit node tries a man-in-the-middle attack with BetterCap, like Elliot does probably here, the exit node gets flagged and shut down. Elliot in the series is, of course, an elite hacker. So yes, through man-in-the-middle and JavaScript injection, you could try to force the victim to download a payload. He could have accessed the PC this way. That's why in Tails, JavaScript is disabled in the browser, and it's a virtual machine, which is also Linux, by the way. Well, I think Linux would have just slowed Elliot down. I showed this attack locally with Beef XSS with BetterCap in the Metasploit course on Teachable, part of the InfoSec bundle. Also, for the very issue of exit nodes, it's always recommended to connect to the Tor network through a VPN. What's a bit implausible about the scene is that the man lives in the same city as Elliot, but maybe Elliot had hacked so many PCs that he screened them and tracked this man living in his own city. In Mr. Robot, as in the video game Watch Dogs, being works of fiction, sometimes they stretch things a bit, but as we'll see, given the detailed technical care, the suspension of disbelief is never really broken. What does annoy me a bit are the constant Fight Club references. Yeah, we get it. I get it, you like the Fight Club. The R.U.D.Y attack. The attack sends just a few packets slowly, saturating the server. Elliot appreciates it because it's a rather creative denial of service attack. Look at his face. So happy about it. Yeah, it is. You're gonna be out of a job soon, man. You're working for this company. Dude, get a grip. Hey, but it's the evil corporation. He's got his reasons. Actually, R.U.D.Y stands for Are You Dead Yet? So it sends numerous small packets at a very slow rate to keep the connection open and the server busy. It's a low and slow attack, so it's difficult to detect. That's why Elliot loves it so much. Krista, Elliot's psychotherapist. He says it was easy to hack her account with the password Dylan2791. The software used is fictional. It's called ELPSCRK. In real life, Crunch has the same purpose, which I covered on the channel. It's the first video I ever uploaded. It generates work lists to be tested against services. In this case, it pings a .org server. Usually they're institutional sites. I mean, the ones that end in .org. Actually, ELPSearchK, let's call it that way, now exists, but was actually inspired by the Mr. Robot series. It's available on GitHub. I don't know how good it is as a tool. My goodness, how cringy is this guy? He hacks his email again, apparently. The org, then I understood, the org website. This org website refers to a fictional version of Gmail in the Mr. Robot universe. Tyrell Wellick, I keep calling him Tyler, yet another reference to the Fight Club. He uses KDE, whereas Elliot uses GNOME. Hyperlink is better on Arch. It's coming in the next few months, a playlist on Arch with Hyperlink. By the way, I kinda look like him, don't I? Nah, I'm more handsome. And talking about handsome, then we have Micheal Hansen. By the way, the Mr. Robot soundtrack slaps. Obviously reminiscent of the first Watch Dogs. When you're studying cybersecurity, they're the best. Try them. There's also another playlist, another video. It's about an hour long. It's called Concentration Programming. There are it's a series of 3 videos on YouTube. The first one is the best one. Elliot wants to gather more info to protect Krista using a social engineering move. He pretends to call his mother from the Micheal Hansen's phone. So he phones himself to get Michael's number, which he'll need later to hack his email account. Where was it? May I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's not suspicious looking at all. Calls himself, saves the number. Yeah, not suspicious looking at all. Look at the face. Thanks anyway. Well, too late, man. You gave him your phone. Meanwhile, there's a distributed denial of service attack on Allsafe, the company where Elliot works, which at this point makes me think their security posture is pretty lacking. It takes 5 minutes to configure Cloudflare, founded in 2009 by the way, to prevent DDoS attacks. In short, DDoS attacks use many infected computers to overload a server or multiple servers with requests until they become unusable or unreachable. They essentially knock the server or servers offline. For an IT company, that's bad. For a cybersecurity firm, even worse. Elliot tells Lloyd to restart the DNS server, the protocol that translates numerical server addresses into domain names. But if the DNS server or the servers supporting other services in the company are attacked, restarting all of them is basically just hoping that the attack is over. If it continues after the reboot, they'll remain inaccessible. If the denial of service attack came from a single IP, a single machine, you could block it with firewall rules, and that will be it. But with DDoS attacks, where there are hundreds or thousands of IPs, it's hard to tell which are legitimate and which are attacking the servers. It's especially hard to act quickly, and if you're caught totally unprepared, it's even worse, like it's happening here. Looks like I underestimated it. There were firewalls in place. Actually, it's much worse. Firewalls off, which means someone got in and disabled them. Now Elliot has to identify them and kick them out of the server, I suppose. The funny thing is that while everyone is in a panic, Elliot is genuinely admiring the hacker's technical skills. LOL. They installed a rootkit on the server. It's a type of malware that gets full control of the server inside the network, and it's very hard to find. That's why daily backups of all server contents and configurations are often made. The fastest way to fix all of this mess now is to restore a backup from a moment before the intrusion happened. And if there's no backup solution, you have to wipe and reinstall everything. Every time we restart the server, the virus replicates itself during boot up and crashes the host. In fact, Elliot says to shut down, wipe everything, and restart, just as I predicted. Daily backups or even hourly backups would have been even better. Something they surely learned after these events. Considering they said in the episode they lost $13 million in an hour, a backup solution would cost a lot less. Trust me. But I hear you say, couldn't they just install an antivirus system? No. If the malware was custom made for the attack, it can take days or even weeks to figure out what happened. Obfuscation techniques can be very creative and sophisticated. And plus, what usually happens, the malware is sent via email to the human resources, for example. And if the network hasn't been divided into segments, my god, they can't reach the servers remotely because, DDoS attack and all. So they take a jet to the server farm. So jealous. I wish I'd been in Elliot's place. I really need a vacation. Doesn't matter if it's stressful. I mean, it's playing with computers. How stressful can it be? Plus, server room, air conditioning. God, yeah. That will be nice. Okay, I guess they wiped and restarted all servers, but forgot one was still infected. It's a bit tense to build suspense, but they could just shut them all down again. But on the other hand, the company is losing money, so Elliot improvises a quick fix. I have to redirect the traffic, change the DNS. Basically, the CS30 server goes offline and its backup is used. Now the infected server is offline and Elliot can take a closer look. He gets the list of processes running as root and finds the appsociety00.dat file. He gives himself write and read permissions in the folder as a less privileged user than root, but root can still read it, so this left me a bit perplexed. But hey, maybe it's set up so that only the people that access the server farm physically can have root access. The hell do I know? It might be that way now that I think about it. Okay, let's move on. Classic social engineering. Elliot calls Micheal to ask for the answers to his security questions to access his account. He tells him his account has been compromised to create a sense of urgency and anxiety. He asks if his residence is still the same as the info he already got to create legitimacy, and also, it seems, to input more keywords for generating passwords to try and hack his account. And indeed, he runs the software with the word list and automatically generated password list, but can't get in. He concludes that his real name isn't Micheal Hansen at all. He's not handsome at all, unlike Tyrell Wellick. The first episode ends with Terry Colby of E Corp being arrested after Elliot reports the presence of his IP in the DAT file. A public IP in a corporate network that, well, leaves me a bit perplexed too. Could have been a private VPN IP, I guess, but will the log contain anything of substance? Shouldn't they have hacked Colby's account and used it as a proxy to plant incriminating actions? Am I overthinking this? Like the video if you enjoyed it. In the next few videos, we'll analyze the next episodes. Maybe we'll analyze single attacks. There are only a couple in a second episode, like the shell shock one, which Elliot exploits via wget, and a laptop which is compromised via a compact disc, a CD-ROM. Do you remember those? So I might cover several episodes in a single video in the future. My courses on ethical hacking are in the description. A new introductory excellent course on Linux is coming next month, but could be already available. I think it'll be in the next couple months. I've been working on a million things concurrently in August 2025. So check it out to see what's it all about. Did you understand the reference? Are you old enough? Making this video was more fun than I expected. Hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.